I'm not plugging up the mic this time. I don't have the energy. I'm just going to try and talk a little low. See how that goes. I think that's good. Okay. So let's do my very first mid-year freakout tag. Check out my vision board. Hold on, let me scroll up. I love how it looks. Let me see if I could put some lo-fi music on. I'll do it on my phone. Don't want it to be too loud. Probably hear the sound of my laptop overheating. Unfortunately, I just have to deal with the fact that my laptop is going through it. I need a more powerful one. Like already, my OBS is saying that it's like overloaded and I don't understand the technology for it, but whatever. My mood board looks good. My Notion looks great. That's all that matters. Let me find, there we go. Am I in the right place? I can't even remember. What am I supposed to be doing? Writing. No, reading. Okay. Actually, for reading, I believe, where would I put that? Ah, my library. Duh, reading. How many books have I read? 15? I believe it's 16 now, so I might have to go back there. I have to count. I forget so easily. Okay, mid-year freakout tag. I just found out what this was because I watched Cindy and Jack Edwards, and they did theirs. So I created a template in Notion for myself where I can do this every year myself. And I think it's cool because it made me really put in perspective how much I actually did read. I know this year, because I was finally starting to read again, I wanted to do the one book a month, so I'd have 12 reads in 1 year, just to start off slow. And I've actually passed that in 6 months, so that makes me feel better about myself in regards to reading. Because I really wish I could be a person that reads a book a week or multiple books a week, but I'm just not that person right now. So this is what the template looks like. Physical books read, Kindle books read, audiobooks listened. So I read these physical books, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I read the A to Z Guide to Black Oppression, Feminism for the 99%, Tender as the Flesh, The Collective, 101 Things I Learned in Film School, and Bird by Bird. I put for Kindle books read. Unfortunately, I only started and stopped all Kindle reads. So Ace, Bunny, Verity, Any Man, Heaven, and Zen in the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. But I have to say that's not true now, because yesterday and this morning, because I passed out in the middle of the night, I quickly read Toni Morrison's, how do you say that book, right? Detective. Let me see. It's a word. Okay, let me see. Okay. I read, there we go, let's spell it right. Recitative? which is Toni Morrison's only short story. Just because I did want to get one Kindle read in. And I'm going to be reading Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance hopefully in this month, but not in time for my tag that I'm doing right now. Yeah, recitative. Okie And so that's one. So that makes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we have, for audiobooks listened to, I have The Metamorphosis and The Penal Colony, both by Franz Kafka. Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke. The Other Black Girl. Detransition Baby. Dead Inside. The School for Good Mothers. Gone to See the Riverman, and We Need to Do Something, which I want to watch that movie after this, the movie adaptation to that. I also wanted to quickly get 2 short story reads. The Quiet Boy, which is the short story for the movie adaptation of Antlers, which I watched Antlers and it was amazing. And I wanted to do The Black Phone because this Friday I want to go see the movie adaptation, The Black Phone. But once again, not in time for this mid-year freakout time tag. That'll be probably tomorrow or whatever. Because I'm really busy. I'm actually doing book cover designs for a new client for a publishing company, so I can't read so much if I'm juggling all my different jobs, which is fine because designing book covers is pretty awesome. Okay, so total of books. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So I can say that I've read 16. Next. So now we're going to answer the questions of the tag. The best book that I read so far, I'm going to give it to, I really, really did like Gone to See the Riverman. I would say Tender is the Flesh, but Gone to See the Riverman, I just love how it weaved like surrealist horror, like a fever dream, but you're awake, that ties into the flashbacks that describes how deplorable our protagonist actually is when we did empathize for her. And then everything just goes more and more downhill, and it's nightmare fuel, and it's so good. I really loved how Christopher Triana wrote that. Best sequel you read so far? I haven't read a sequel. Let me look up just to make sure. Yeah, I haven't read a sequel. These were all like, yeah, they were all standalone pieces. New release you haven't read yet but want to. I don't keep up with releases, so I don't know. Oh, there's one. Okay, so Scenes of Subjection. There's going to be a new version that comes out later in 2022. The most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I don't follow new releases. Maybe that will change next year, but so far I just if I come across a book and it sounds interesting, I read it. Biggest disappointment. Oh my goodness, I'm forgetting one. I'm forgetting Womb. Womb. I read Womb. Oh goodness. I forgot that I removed it from Audible because that's how much I didn't like it. That book sucked. When did I read Womb? I read Womb way back. Okay, that was after Things Have Gotten Worse, but before The Other Black Girl. Womb by, his name was like Duncan Wolfson. It was so bad. Let me just make sure. by Duncan Ralston. I was close in spelling. It was R instead of a W. Duncan Ralston. That book sucks so bad. It had the nerve to call itself a extreme horror. There was nothing extreme horror about it. It was just without any substance, and it tried to make up for the idea of being something horrific by being traumatic. But I've read a lot of traumatic things, and even disturbing, disgusting things that piled on a lot of trauma, and especially sexual violence trauma, that has been better at being disturbing than this. This was just a bore that was gross. It was a huge disappointment. And listening to it on Audible and listening to a white man narrate on Audible, a white man who was basically a wigger, who was saying nigga every 5 seconds, took me out. Creating the poor sex worker and her sexual trauma just so that she could be re-traumatized again, and then make it seem like at the end actually she would, you know what, I'm not even going to go into it. Womb sucked so bad that I had to remove it from my Audible. I cashed the credit in for a new credit so I could get a different book. It was trash. Duncan, I don't know what you did, but you thought you ate, you didn't do anything. You should have threw that out of your mind. You should have buried that in the back of your mind. But if it needed to come out, you should have scribbled it and then burnt it and act like it didn't exist. I don't know what you did with that. So there. Anyways, biggest surprise. The biggest surprise, I would say, I would say Gone to See the Riverman. Because after Womb and stuff, I was afraid that the extreme horrors were just going to be gratuitous, pathetic little pieces of crap. Because Womb, unfortunately, is my first taste of extreme horror in novels. As someone who watches quote unquote extreme horror, shocksploitation, torture porn, in the visual sense with audio visuals, I was wondering what it would be like to read such things. And Womb was so awful that it almost turned me off, but Gone to See the Riverman was great. So I'm going to give it to that. Favorite new author. I'm going to give it to... Out of these people, of course someone drives past blasting music. I want to say Augustina. I don't know if Augustina only wrote Tender as the Flesh. Eric LaRocca, Franz Kafka, and Toni Morrison aren't new, but they are new to me for reading. Kind of want to check out what Max Booth the Third is about, because We Need to Do Something was a nice quick read. So I'm gonna go with Max Booth the Third. Newest fictional crush. There isn't anyone that I've read in any of these books that I would have a crush on. It kind of has to do with the genres that I'm interested in. Literary fiction, nonfiction, memoir. I wouldn't want to have a crush on real people. Sorry about the dirt bikers. That's just something that kind of happens on the street. And then when it comes to like fiction, once again, I play around with horror and extreme horror. Dystopia, yeah, there is. I'm trying to think of someone who isn't in some way, if they're not pathetic and pitiful, they're not deplorable. And it's not coming across my mind. There's no one here that I'm like, ooh, crush, nothing, no one. Every single person. Maybe Ames and Deep Transition Baby, but that's it. I'm gonna go no one. Newest favorite character. I don't know if there's a character I like. I don't think there's a character I like in these books either. Oh my goodness. Yeah. No One Again. Book that made me cry. The School. The Good Mother's Ending. And the Dead Baby Story from Bird by Bird. Those made me tear up. Book that made you happy. Let me take a gander at this again because once again, like, I'm reading heavy stuff. I guess I would give it to 101 Things I Learned in Film School. Only because it made me feel excited about art. And the connection between film and writing and illustration is just, they're so similar in photography. Just ultimately storytelling, and makes me feel good. Most beautiful book that I've bought, like the cover. I have a lot of books, a lot of physical books. Most beautiful? I'm looking around, looking around, looking around. Oh, maybe The Resurrectionist? Let me see. Oh, that's easy. The Endwell book. It's more mental health. The Endwell book. That's such a beautiful book, inside and out. And what it's supposed to mean for you is also incredibly beautiful. Books you need to read by the end of the year. All of them. I have so many books in totes. My Kindle library is in the thousands. Well, so that concludes that. Now that I've included Womb by Duncan Ralston, I have to change this from saying 16 to 17. And let me just make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Yep. So now I could go back to my library. And I say change it from 15 to 17. Thank you. Thank you for watching, whoever you are. And if whoever you are is only me of the future, I hope you're proud of the fact that I ingested 17 stories that I've learned in 17 different places. Even if it was as pathetic as Womb, what I learned was I shouldn't have read that book. Yeah, so